That was cool.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another exciting, fresh episode of Blockchain World, brought to you by Diaspora Digital Media in partnership with Digital Assets Management Academy. I am your host, Tochku Raphael, and today we shall look into a crucial conversation: ensuring credible elections in Nigeria by 2027. Can blockchain technology provide the solution? Nigeria's democratic journey has been marred by flawed elections, manipulation, and distrust. Now, just look back at the 2023 presidential election. We all saw what happened, how it transpired. This was a landmark event expected to showcase Nigeria's democratic maturity. Instead, unfortunately, it was riddled with vote buying, manipulation of bimodal voter accreditation system, the one called BVAS, delayed results transmissions, and allegations of compromised officials at polling and collation levels. So these issues have shaken public confidence and also highlighted the urgent need for technological innovation to restore faith in the electoral process. So joining me today to explore how blockchain technology could transform Nigeria's election credibility are two experts from DAMA, Digital Assets Management Academy. First, I have, as always, Mr. Moses Obaje, who is also known as AI Prof. He is a DAMA instructor, seasoned blockchain advocate. Mr. Obaje, you're most welcome today.
Thank you, Mr. Tochukwu, and good morning to our listeners.
All right, and we move to our next person, a woman, Mrs. Shifra Poloma, aka Digital Mama, also a DAMA instructor with expertise, a lot of expertise in blockchain issues. Mrs. Poloma, I'm glad to have you on this program.
Thank you for having me this morning, and good morning to all our listeners and viewers.
All right, now let's delve into the discussion. We're expecting an election around the corner. It's around the corner already, starting with the Anambra election coming up on the 8th of November, Saturday. But the bigger picture is a 2027 election, and that is what everybody in Nigeria is looking forward to, seeing, and also having, great hopes that it will be better than what we had in 2023. Let me start with one question: the problem, defining the problem, and that question is to you, Mr. Obaje. How would you describe the state of Nigeria's electoral system based on recent elections?
Well, thank you, Mr. Tochukwu, for that line of question. If we look at the terrain and what is happening in that ecosystem, a lot needs to be done with regards to Nigeria's election. Just like you rightly outlined, there are a lot of issues that is bedeviling our country with regards to election and the electioneering processes. And so we have a lot to do. There's a lot of tasks ahead if we want to get it better. Just like you rightly mentioned, the issues of vote buying, the issues of rigging, ballot boxes snatching, voter suppression, voter oppression, and a lot of manipulations, which has caused voter apathy as far as the electioneering process is concerned. So there is a lot that needs to be done with regards to our electioneering procedure as a country, as the giant of Africa, because we set the pace, others follow. So there is a lot to be done, Mr. Tochukwu. That's my line of thought this morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for setting the tone. Mrs. Poloma, what are the main challenges that have undermined election credibility in Nigeria? We have talked about vote buying. What are others? Because we have, first of all, defining the problem that blockchain is doing or is attempting to solve or address.
Yeah. Other than vote buying, we have the elections in Nigeria are just too expensive. Too expensive. And then, just like previous elections that we had, there was this issue of Beavers machine, which is supposed to have aided the electoral process to make a little bit, to have a little bit of trust. But then the Beavers were like either not working or there was a shutdown somewhere somehow. And basically, this is one other challenge that has bedeviled the Nigerian electoral system. In some places, the beaver was not even used. And then another thing is the issue of violence, electoral violence, robbery, and what have you. These are part of the challenges that we have as a nation when it comes to the electoral process that is making, the trust in the electoral process is no longer there. And basically, I think these are the two that I can add. You know, electoral violence, the machine that was supposed to have aided the election not working for obvious reasons, and the cost of election is damn too expensive. From the process of voter registration to the end product of the election itself is extremely too expensive. Take, for example, as it is now for the next 1 year, the voter registration or renewal of voter registration, and for those doing voter registration, has already commenced, and it's going to last for the next 1 year. At the onset, an electoral officer came to my place yesterday. She was saying initially when it started a month or so ago, there was a beehive of people coming to participate. But now when you go there, nobody is there until towards the tail end next year. That's when you see another beehive of activities of people coming in there. So even the sensitization is not there. Why? Because of the voter apathy, like Prof mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Mr. Ibrahim, you're not audible.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
All right. Digital Mama, I said before you go, I would like to ask you this question. You know, when we talk about blockchain voting system, many people imagine something too technical or futuristic. Can you break it down? How would a blockchain-based election actually work in practice? Digital Mama.
I'm coming, I'm just putting on my mic. A blockchain electoral process is not going to be like the manual one we see now. It will entail a lot of processes of, as we have taught here about the blockchain, it will make the process immutable, transparent, because it is going to be deployed on the blockchain. And once deployed on the blockchain, we know the blockchain runs on a set of computers. Whatever is imputed there is there for life. So even if you, for example, you start doing your voter registration, there will not be double registration of a voter, mark you, because each voter is now going to have a specialized identity to be able to perform the task of voting. So you won't have the issue of multiple registrations at all. And then when it comes to the electoral processes itself, it will make it in such a way that wherever you are from the comfort of your home, you can cast your vote without the issue of having a fear of going to the polling unit and then a crowd will beat you up and there'll be, chaos and what have you. So the blockchain, as we know it, It's a set of a computer that will identify every voter, perform the process that humans do on the blockchain. And then it will make it like transparent, immutable, and verifiable by anybody anywhere. It can provide real-time results for anybody that is there. And wherever you are, you should be able to cast your vote. Why? Because you have a specialized identity that there will be no duplication of voting, of voters. Whatever it has registered on the blockchain remains as that. There won't be manipulation. In the past, you discover that the number of voters per polling unit might be 1,000, and then due to voter apathy, maybe roughly 300 come to vote. But at the end of the day, when the result is declared, you discover that they will tell you that almost everybody voted, which is not so. But with the coming of the blockchain, if it comes on board, it will eliminate such, and it will bring back trust in the electoral system. Thank you.
Mr. Tochukwu,
I'm through.
Sorry. Okay, I was referring to Mr. Obaje. In simple terms, what does blockchain mean? And is it that there cannot be any manipulation with the blockchain technology? Or if there is a manipulation, it will be easily detected and addressed by relevant authorities? So, because this issue is what Nigerians would like to know. For example, in 2023 elections, we had the beavers. Beavers was an unprecedented technology in Nigeria, indisputably. And we're all, inundated with these stories of authenticity that came with the beavers. But what happened? It was manipulated. So what does blockchain mean? And is it that it will not be manipulated, or the manipulation will be very clear to everybody to see and then be addressed by relevant authorities? Thank you. No. You're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Tochukwu. You see, blockchain, like we know, we've said it severally, I will continue to say it, is a decentralized digital ledger. It's a decentralized booklet that records transactions across multiple computers and securely and transparently. So immediately that record is taken on my computer, it is already on your computer. It is already on the computer of the gentleman in UK, in Gambia, in whatever part of the world. That record is there instantaneously, and it is secured because it cannot be tampered with. It is tamper-proof, all right? And it is transparent. Now, if we talk of the key features of blockchain, with regards to the electioneering process, when we talk of transparency, every vote that is cast can be viewed and verified on a public ledger. No vote will go on that ledger through the back door. No. You understand? And then there is that level of security where, because it has an encryption, cryptography prevents vote tampering. You cannot tamper with it because of the cryptographic encryption, which is the basic security for the blockchain ecosystem. And then when we talk of immutability, which is one of the features of blockchain, once recorded, you cannot alter it, you cannot delete it. In fact, you see, in the electionary process, when records are being taken at the polling unit, there is a transmission process from the voting units to other centers that has to do with the local government. From the local government, it goes to the state government. From the state government, it goes to the federal center, which happens the national body. So in the process of all these movements, there can be alterations, there can be deletions in the processing. But when it is on the blockchain, because of immutability, once it is recorded, votes can never be altered again, because it is already recorded. Everybody has seen it because of its transparency, and because it is encrypted cryptographically, you cannot tamper with it. And then when we talk of decentralization, remember we said blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger. Now it eliminates the need for a single controlling body. Now, you know, INEC, yes, is the motherboard for the electioneering processes in Nigeria. It is what they say that stands. Once you are announced as the winner, you stand the winner. There is nothing you can go. It's only for you to go back to the legal system to fight the battle. And I'm sorry to say that it's very, very difficult to see people who go back to the legal system and then they come back winners. Very few, very slim. But with decentralization, that single controlling body, yes, it can organize elections, but it cannot manipulate the results. It cannot just come out and say, okay, Mr. A is the winner, whereas the record is saying it is Mr. B, because it is transparent. Everybody is viewing it. Just the way I'll view it from my jurisdiction, from the comfort of my home, somebody who is in America is viewing it. And the same thing I am viewing here is the same thing that the person in America is viewing. So it will eliminate the need for a single controlling body that can manipulate results. So that is why we say blockchain, as far as it is an upcoming technology, in fact, it is no longer an upcoming technology because it has come to stay. It is now part and parcel of the global system. So blockchain has come and it will change the narrative once we get it right. So thank you, Mr. Tochu. That's the little I can contribute in this regard.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Obaje. But you know, Mr. Obaje, when as Nigerians, when we hear anything about internet, the first thing that comes to mind is cyber threats. So how can blockchain voting ensure both security and autonomy without compromising trust?
Now, what happened to beavers? If we go back, what happened to beavers? A lot of stories with regards to beavers. Some people will say network connectivity, machine malfunction, and the rest of that. Some even said the beavers was hacked. You understand? Now, for you to hack the blockchain, can you hack all the computers at once? That's the question. Yes, when we are talking of cybersecurity, yes, we know there might be this challenge, but is it possible for you to hack the whole of the computers at the same time? It's not possible. And so therefore, Nigerians need to understand what blockchain is comprehensively, you understand, and how it can fight even cybersecurity because of its encryption, because of that security that it has, that has to do with cryptographic encryption. So yes, there might be cyber challenges, but I bet you it is very, very infinitesimal as far as the blockchain ecosystem is concerned. So all we need is to be knowledgeable. The first thing is, the key aspect of it is knowledge, because when you understand how the blockchain operates, you will not be doubting the security capability of blockchain with regards to cybersecurity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obaje. Digital Mama, are there any countries in the world or institutions that have already experimented with blockchain voting? And what can we as Nigerians learn from their experience? Digital Mama.
I think there are, yes, I heard you very well. There are some countries that have been able to, tried the issue of blockchain in their electoral process. For example, we have Estonia. Since 2005, they have been doing e-voting, which is bolstered by the blockchain elements. And it has enabled about, I think, 40%. By 2019, they had a 44% voters coming out to vote, which is a plus, I'm sure, compared to when they started. Because the turnout, even from the remote areas by 2019, goes up to 44%, with an end-to-end verifiable verifiability that reduces disputes. And also, I think in Sierra Leone in 2018, a blockchain pilot in one district was tallied. It tallied the votes transparently, and it increased the observer trust, despite the limited scale. Remember, I said it was in a district that this blockchain voter system was performed. But then, on a general note, it was okay, some element of trust is there. And then in the United States of America, in the West Virginia, I think in 2018, they did a mobile blockchain voting for the military personnel. As we all know, military personnel, where they live, they may not, they live in they could be even on outside assignment for the nation, but they were able to perform voting via the blockchain. It was demonstrated. Those of them overseas voted in the election. These are a few examples of where blockchain voting was done, and it brought out trust in the system. Though it was not done on a large scale, but at least from the results of that very particular election for those years, it became like worth having a thought after. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
Okay, what I wanted to ask Mr. Obaje, you talked about transparency with the blockchain, but recall that Beavers also, had this assurance of transparency, but that did not happen. So what I want to ask you, what does blockchain have that Beavers does not have? Or are there any features that they share together?
It was cracking, but I think you were trying to talk about the transparency of Beavers and blockchain, yes. Right? Now, we need to go and study cryptography. You understand? Yeah, Beavers is technically induced, but cryptography is one type of security that it is very, very difficult to crack. It is very, very difficult to crack. You understand? Now, remember that the Beavers is connected to a service center. I don't know whether you understand. That means it is centralized. Beavers is centralized. There's a control center for Beavers where it can be monitoring what is happening. But with cryptography, there is no central base. It is decentralized. Everybody is in control, not a central body. You understand, where they will tell you, okay, we are having technical hitches, or we are having internet connectivity hitches, so we cannot be able to continue using this device. No. In fact, yesterday when I was driving home from office, I couldn't access network from my office. But when I got home, there was network. You understand? If the network is not favorable with me on MTN, I can go on Airtel, I can go on Glo. You understand? As far as there is network connectivity, and I don't see because of election, you shut down the entire network of the nation. You understand? But when you have a centralized system, somebody can manipulate. But when it is decentralized, that's cryptography for you. And that's what makes blockchain unique. You understand? You cannot, as on your own, say you want to shut down the system. It's not possible. Since 2008, the blockchain started, for one day, it has not shut down. The day it will shut down, that day, there will be no more internet connectivity. As far as there's internet connectivity, blockchain will continue to roll. You can't stop it, and you can't stop technology. It's a moving train. So Tochukwu, the level of transparency of beavers is limited because there is a control center. But for blockchain, it is unlimited because there's no one who will tell you, okay, I'm in charge, I'm in control. I can shut it down, I can put it on, I can say this is giving me problems, so I just need to do some maintenance. No. Have you ever heard where they say blockchain has gone on maintenance? No, because it is encrypted cryptographically. So even as we go into this process, there are terminologies that, yes, people will say, what is it? We just need knowledge as far as it is concerned. You understand? So that's just it. It is unlimited.
Mr. Tuchukwurafe, let me jump in here, please. If I understand you well, Mr. Obaje, the whole idea of blockchain technology that differs from the traditional technology we're using is it is not centralized. So, and it is translated into, for example, if you are searching for something on Google, you are asking for a server to give you data. But this one is being, should I say, partitioned into multiple computers. So with that, 2027 is just around the corner. What do you think Nigeria must, what must be done in Nigeria? I mean, politically and technically, for us to adopt the blockchain technology come 2027?
Mr. Ibrahim, can you come again, please? Can you come again? Something disrupted me.
All right, no problem. I said, what do you think must happen or must be done, I mean, both technologically and politically, before Nigeria can confidently adopt blockchain-based elections?
All right, there are a lot of things to be done. But before then, I want us to look at some of these things that are causing havoc in the electoral system, most especially Nigeria. Number one, 90% of our electioneering process is done manually. Be it voter accreditation, be it result collation, they are all done manually. And we have vulnerabilities with the NX database. In fact, my wife, she registered for the past, I think, close to 15 years thereabout or 20 years thereabout, but she has never voted for once. Why? Because of database vulnerabilities. Up till today, she cannot access her voter's card. And every year, every time they say go back for voter revalidation, she goes back and does that. But if it is on the blockchain, it is there and it is there. You cannot tamper with it. You cannot change it. So we look at, just like Beavers, they talked about network failures, which undermines credibility. We talked about vote buying and result manipulation. They still remain persistent as far as the electoral ecosystem is concerned in Nigeria. These are great challenges. And this boils down to what? Distrust in the process, which leads to voters' apathy. So there is a lot to be done, both by the electoral body, both by the politicians, and also the voters. There is a lot to be done. So number one, we need a transparent voter registration. We need a transparent voter registration process so that every voter can have a unique verifiable ID, and that can be gotten using the blockchain technology, which, like Digital Mama mentioned, it will prevent multiple registrations. And also, number two, the voting should not be centralized. Some people don't go to vote. Why? Because they are afraid of what might happen within that vicinity. The thugs might attack because they want to snatch ballot boxes. In fact, even our security system, there are threats during voting. You see heavy armed personnel, the military, the civil defense, the police, a lot of security agencies with heavy machines and weapons. And if you're not, you think it is a war, which scares people. But where we have a secure digital voting, voters can cast their votes remotely without going to the voting centers. Yes, we know that there will be challenges. Definitely, life without challenge is boring. But we need to start from somewhere. So that, because with secure digital voting, you see, you will have voter anonymity and security. Somebody will, in as much as we say, okay, it is a secret ballot system, but is it really secret? I don't think so. There are some loopholes. And also, then there should be immutable record keeping. Because once votes are submitted, they are permanently stored in the blockchain. Now, if let's assume there is a legal action that needs to be taken, this, because it is an immutable system and is stored on the blockchain, you cannot go there and tamper with it. So there will be real proofs, authentic proofs, with whatever evidence that is required as far as the voting or the electioneering process is concerned. So there will be post-election tampering, whereby if you go now, there are some data that you will be looking for. It's the document that you will be given is so voluminous that nobody can go through it. But if it is recorded on the blockchain, you can get access to that record at any point in time, and very, very easy. Now, with technology, there should be instant result verification. Political parties can verify the result, not waiting for anybody to even go and make any announcement. Observers can verify results instantaneously, and you as a citizen can verify results instantaneously, which will cause a lot of reduction in suspicion and in disputes that will lead to legal action. So everybody has a part to play. Just like Digital Mama mentioned, even the government itself, because the cost of electioneering process is just too expensive. Even the political parties, how much do you pay to come out? I think for the president, I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a politician, I think it was about 100 million naira. For you just to buy a slot to contest, 100 million naira. And why wouldn't there be political theft in our country? So we need to find ways to cut down on cost of the electoral process. Because with digital voting, it will reduce logistics, which has to do with printing, which has to do with transportation, which has to do with security, which is associated with our traditional system of the electioneering process today. So blockchain will salvage a lot of situations. However, it is not going to be funny. It is not going to be easy because number one, our level of education, when you go to the rural areas, you find a lot of people, lack of internet connectivity, not having access to Android or iOS devices, you understand. So there's a lot to be done technologically wise that will need those who are even in the rural places can access, how do I put it, these services freely. You understand, the network connectivity needs to be improved. How can we work that they can access the voting pattern using whatever devices they are holding on to? So all these things need to be looked into, but I bet you it will help us in diverse ways. In terms of security, you don't need any security man to come to your doorpost because you want to vote. Yes, there can be surveillance, all right, to monitor the activities of people during the electioneering process, but not in that manner whereby you serve as a threat to the people who have come out to vote, and it will save us a lot of time. You know, if in the voting system today, you find out that some voting booths will remain open, voting at midnight using local lamps, using handsets, touchlights, just to go and vote. With blockchain, we don't need all those because we will be able to manage our time. Once it is now open for voting, you can do it from the comfort of your home. When you are on transit, you are in your business place, you are in your office, but we shut down the economy because we want to go and vote, which is not good for our country. And so therefore, when we do that, there will be no manipulation. Forget it, there will be no manipulation. Yes, BVAS was just to curtail some manipulations. Did he do that? No, because it is centralized. But with blockchain, there is no way you can manipulate the ecosystem. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim.
Mr. Tochukwu-Raphael, unmute yourself.
I appreciate you, Mr. Baje. We have dwelt much on transparency of the blockchain, immutability, security of our records, and all that, details of individuals. So the blockchain cannot, data on the blockchain cannot be manipulated. But what about the manipulation of human beings now? Now, this is where vote buying comes in, because vote buying is outside the bounds of control of the blockchain. So can blockchain address these aspects of malpractices which are beyond the bounds of control within the blockchain technology? Mrs. Poloma, are you going to attempt at, what you want?
I think when you talk about vote buying, how blockchain can feel that, what easily comes to mind is the poverty level of the populace. That makes vote buying acceptable. Why? Because the poverty level is something else. But then, with proper knowledge and proper education and sensitization to the populace, the blockchain does not only, the education that the populace needs is that blockchain is not solely for maybe the voter, whatever. But then there's the financial aspect, the fintech aspect of the blockchain, where It is free for anybody to participate. We have tokens that are on the blockchain as it is, handling the finance aspect, where you and I, it's as little as nothing. $1, 5,000 naira, 5,000 naira. We can buy into those tokens, and as they grow, as they increase in value, they'll give us that financial wherewithal, where we can be financially independent. Because anybody that is not financially independent can easily be lured by vote buying. But when people are educated enough to know that the blockchain has come to solve a lot of human issues, including your financial stability, when the right knowledge is applied and given to the populace, and they kick into, you know, buying tokens that are will give them financial stability. I think the issue of vote buying will be, will if not eliminated, but at least to the barest minimum. Why? Because if I'm financially buoyant, there's no how anybody can come and buy my vote. It's not possible. Even if you buy my vote, after all, the blockchain, coming of the blockchain makes me an anonymous voter. It may not be my name it is not my name that will be there. So how will you know even if I collect your money that I'm you? You understand?
All right.
And I'm voting either my vote or wherever I am. So it will make it that the politician has to do a lot of, he has to merit being there for me to vote for him. Because number one, I vote in a decentralized manner from wherever I am. I use my device to cast my vote. And I'm financially buoyant. Why? Because I'm a participant, or I have invested with as little as 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira into a token that will give me financial stability. So I think there's a lot that needs to be done. Sensitization, education, and that's why we're here. You understand? As BDM and Dama Academy.
Brian, I think you have answered wonderfully well. That's a brilliant answer, because what inspires people to indulge in malpractices, whether it is vote buying or whatever, is the fact that they are not confident that they will live tomorrow or they will find food to eat tomorrow. But now, with the advent of blockchain, they are confident that when they vote, their vote will count. I can remember in 2023, one of my acquaintances told me that he was voting for Peter Obi. And because of that, he had registered at two separate places. And he must vote at these places. When he voted for, in one particular polling unit, he would go to another to vote the same thing, just to make it right, just to vote for whom many Nigerians thought would be the best candidate, the best president in Nigeria. But multiple voting is wrong. But he did not care. So I believe that once blockchain is put into practice and to use, those who used to indulge in vote buying, mainly the electorate, would think twice before doing that. What do you think, Mr. Obaje?
Now, you see, poverty has dealt us very well as far as our country is concerned. And also, it has dealt with our integrity. Corruption has eaten deep also into our economy. and even into the electioneering process. So, in as much, just like Digital Mama mentioned, blockchain is vast. Blockchain is not all about election. It is not all about cryptocurrency.
Mr. Baje?
I think we have lost him.
Yeah, we have lost connectivity.
Yeah. So before he come back, Digital Mama, you know, the biggest challenge we have here is not only poverty in Nigeria, but I would argue that is lack of enlightenment. A lot of people don't even know how to use their phone. You can go to some villages and find out that even the conventional ballots that we're using to partake our own election, some people have to give it to other people to vote for them. How can we make sure that people in a country like Nigeria that is very vastly populated and vast majority of people are not educated gets to know about blockchain and be able to use blockchain technology in election and electioneering processes?
I think just like the beavers introduced as a measure, when we come to the issue of blockchain, when you look at the entire population in Nigeria, maybe just about, probably I would say 20% can vote, on their own. What needs to be done now is a lot of education and sensitization. And a pilot scheme, since we have areas where there's prorated elections. For example, an example can be taken, like this weekend, Anambra is going to have their own election. You understand? So before the main other general election, states that do theirs the same day. I think a pilot scheme can be done, can be used to be deployed and then tried. It cannot be wholly blockchain at the first instance, but then the use of the traditional and the blockchain can be, married together to be able to get results so that people will not get inflated with time. And basically that it requires a lot of the stakeholders that are saddled with the responsibility of conducting elections. They themselves need to be sensitized to know what the blockchain itself is. Once they are able to grasp that and they affirm to do it, then the sensitization that we are already embarking on blockchain, digital assets, and management is a continuous process. We'll continue to do it. And then gradually, it will move down to the level of somebody in a remote area that may not be able to understand this thing. These jargons we're talking about. And then another thing is that when you look at, when the phone came in, I think around 2003, thereabout, the use of the phone, everybody thought that people in the village cannot use a phone.
Yeah.
But as it is now, farming implements are being sent to people on their phone. You understand? So I think it's a gradual process. It is not a one-day thing. No, it requires the actors to be sensitized, to be able to get to know that this blockchain is there to enhance and to ensure that there's transparency and trust will be brought back into the system of voting. Since it is about electing people who will be our policy makers, so it is incumbent on us to understand, to pass that knowledge down, sensitize at all levels, but beginning with the actors themselves, to be able for them to understand. Though it will be difficult, but then we have to start from somewhere.
All right, but do you really think that we can achieve blockchain technology for the 2027 elections? What are these, however idealistic the blockchain technology might be, what are the challenges currently? I believe one of them is, of course, implementation. We have mentioned that. Will the political class have the political will to introduce this technology into Nigeria? So, and how do we address these challenges?
I think, like I said earlier, the issue is the policy makers. They have to understand. They have to be sensitized. It may not be easy, but then what we're even doing here is part of the sensitization. And if the larger populace come to understand the blockchain properly, I think with time, the issue of, adopting blockchain in our electoral system, pressure groups will rise. From among the populace that have this, that are sensitized and understand, there will be a pressure group. Pressure groups will arise, having seen how the blockchain has come to at least help us to have a near perfect election. There will be pressure groups, but sensitization is ongoing, and basically that is for us to be able to get there. Once the policymakers get to understand the decentralized nature of blockchain, how it will aid and the electoral process to become transparent, to become trustworthy, to become auditable, I think it's a long process. We already have an electoral law. So that electoral law has to be looked into, which might take time, you understand? But then, like I said earlier, there has to be a pilot scheme somewhere, somehow, that can be deployed, that blockchain can be deployed. And then we start from there. It may not be nationwide, but even if it means taking a local election, local government election, to, practicalize it, why not? I think basically that's it. But then we are trying to ensure that our electoral process becomes not manipulated at all. And then the issue of this violence, during elections is totally removed from the society, where people will have comfort to vote for who they are voting for. So once it is decentralized, it means I don't have to go to any polling unit at all. You understand? Basically. Thank you.
Okay, you're still watching Blockchain World, a program brought to you by Diaspora Digital Media in partnership with Digital Assets Management Academy. We have been talking about the blockchain technology, the possibility and probability of its use in the coming 2027 general elections in Nigeria. How visible, what are the prospects for success, and what are the chances of failure? What are the challenges? Now, on this note, we will have to give the floor to any member of audience who might want to make a contribution or ask his or her question to be addressed by our guests. If you have any question, you can ask. But the election has to do with everybody. The 2027 election is a matter of life and death, because we are talking about electing a person who would drive the process for the next 4 years. We have seen what has been happening since 2023, when the current government was voted and inaugurated into power. We know what has been the situation. So we want to, the onus is on us, our destiny lies in our hands. So if you want to ask any question bordering on this blockchain technology and how it would drive the electoral process and the steps that we should take in order to get or compel the government to look into it, the floor is yours. All right. It seems that Mr. Obaje, is still having the problem of network, but we must go on. Mrs. Poloma. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, can this blockchain technology and BVAS coexist in the next election?
Yeah, I think they can coexist in the next election. Like starting from, though we've already started the renewal of voter registration will be ongoing for the next almost a year. But for that would have been a test case for ensuring that every voter has a unique number, because it boils down to vote cast, you understand, at the end of it all. But in any case, the other processes work hand in hand. For example, when it comes to the issue of ballot papers, ballot boxes, and what have you, that now can go hand in hand with the issue of the beavers machine. Because you can't just bring a new system and entirely replace an old system. Both have to be looked into, especially the beavers that is controlled centrally by somebody. You understand? And the blockchain has come to ensure that there's decentralization. So in effect, once the voting, the blockchain can be deployed for the actual voting, you understand? So that it will be one vote per person. If that can be done side by side, the issue of beavers, I think we will see an improvement in the process itself. Though it might require a lot of funds for the beginning, but then it is worth it. How I wish we had the issue of voter registration, being the first anchor to rely on. One person, one vote. Because that's the genesis of the entire problem in this country. Multiple registrations, multiple votings, and what have you. Though the introduction of the beavers was to eliminate registration, so that will not go and vote in another place and come back and vote in another place. But because of the centralized nature of the beavers machine, it made it possible, because somebody could manipulate the beaver machine. If blockchain can be deployed, like on the day of the voting, one vote, one person, but then the issue will rely mainly that voters are using the present voter card to perform the action, to cast their vote, which might make it a bit, not too transparent or good, because when we talk about decentralization on the blockchain, every person has an identity, unique, in as much as it may not bear your name. but then it is leaked. So I think it is incumbent on us to keep sensitizing the actors so that at least a part of the blockchain can be used side by side with Viva, the traditional method of voting that we had as a country. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Mr. Moses Obaje, you have just gotten back right on time.
You see, that's one of the problems that we're talking about, internet connectivity. You can see how he threw me out for over 10 minutes. The
But
network shut down.
This internet connectivity will be one of the major problems that will occur if we adopt the blockchain technology into our electoral system. How do we solve it?
Now, Tochukwu is it's not going to be that difficult, you understand, except if it is done intentionally. And like I said, you cannot shut down the whole country because you are conducting elections. Now, I was knocked out for about 10 minutes, right? And I'm back. So if I couldn't vote in the last 10 minutes, I can vote now because the network is back from the comfort of my home. I'm still at home. I've not gone out. You understand? So it can be taken care of. And you know, we have different types of network providers. I tried one, it didn't work. I tried another one, it didn't work. I went back to the former one, it now worked, and I'm back here. So you cannot entirely shut down. If you look at the electoral process in America, is it conducted in one day?
No.
It's not conducted in one day. But in Nigeria, just one day business. But if they say, okay, our election is going to take 3 days, you want to shut down the country for 3 days because you are conducting an election, because you want to rig election, or you don't want the election to be successful, it's not possible. So in that 3 day span that you give me network connectivity, it just takes less than a minute for me to vote. Just less than a minute, and I'm done. So you can see it's not possible that you say, okay, on blockchain, because there is no internet connectivity, I will not be able to vote. Because I believe a sensible leader will not shut down the country for even an hour, the whole of Nigeria, for an hour. There will be chaos. You understand? So internet connectivity will not really be a challenge. The only challenge is maybe the rural areas that do not have this connectivity needs to be looked into so that they can get connected. And we can see that there's a lot of improvement from the service providers in terms of coverage. Even the Fulani man in the bush has access to internet connectivity. We might say, okay, the connectivity might be weak, but it is there. So I think we can do better than what we have today, but it cannot stop us.
All right. Now, there are some Nigerians who say, all right, this conversation is about blockchain technology, but I know for sure,
Cannot
for
stop us.
certainty.
I think I had the tell Mama. Yes.
Okay, I was saying that there are Nigerians who, certainly will be thinking that the conversation we are having, borders on something that will, restore the dignity of our electoral system. But they also believe, with certainty even, that our government can never adopt blockchain into the electoral system. So why are we wasting our time having this conversation? What would you tell these kind of people?
You see, Mr. Tochukwu, who is the government? Who is the government?
Well, the people are the government.
They said democracy is government. Who are government students here? The people are the government. You understand? So why will you tell me that the government will not accept? Because you are the government. I am the government. You understand? When we say this is what we want, and we go for it, we will get it. We will get it. But the only thing we need to do is follow the right channel. Do it the way it ought to be done. You understand? Do it the way it ought to be done. Now we are speaking. We are saying this is where we need to go. This is the narrative we need to follow. And then you say yes to it also. All right? The man in Enugu says yes to it. The man in Yobe says yes to it. The man in Sokoto says yes to it. The whole country begins to say yes to it. Yes, I know that there will be challenges, most especially the political class. But if you look at the voice of the masses compared to that of the political class, which one will be louder? You will agree with me that the voice of the masses will be louder. This is what we want. As a government, this is what we want. Okay, those who are in authority will have no option than to tilt towards that direction, though they might drag their feet, but eventually, over time, it will play out. It will play out. So all our people need is that knowledge that this is where the world is going, and this is what can salvage our country from the electoral impunity we are facing at the moment. All right. So if we want to salvage and get back our integrity with regards to our electioneering process, this is the line to follow. When the country gets more educated, people get more understanding and understand the narrative of what blockchain can do in health, in electioneering, in agriculture, in finance, and what have you. Blockchain is not just for one ecosystem. It's versatile. It's versatile. Even in education now, blockchain can be used to verify results, whether your result is authentic or fake. With blockchain, once you are certified, your result goes on blockchain. It is transparent that, okay, I graduated with a 2-1, but I graduated with an F or with a pass. People don't graduate with F, right? So when people understand what blockchain can do and then they buy into it, I tell you, there is nothing that those who are in authority can do than to also, okay, remember previously, blockchain cryptocurrency was banned in Nigeria, right? But can you stop technology? Today, it has been accepted. A lot of people still do not even know about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but it is accepted in our country today. But previously, it was rejected. And so therefore, I tell you over time, electioneering process using the blockchain will also be accepted. Thank you. You are muted.
All right, I would like to say a big thank you to our guests, Mr. Moses Obaje AI, aka AI Prof, and Mrs. Shifra Poloma, our digital mama. Thank you for everything you have said here today. And we are asking our government to ensure that they adopt this technology, because we are talking about how to improve our electoral system. And there is no way that is going to happen without adoption of technology like the blockchain. BVAS has come. We have seen his performance. And we also have this trust in BVAS, but we want more, because human beings, the essence of living is to improve on the way become better than we were yesterday. So we'd like to thank you, viewers who have joined us today. If you love this program, do not hesitate to hit the like button. Make your comments or contribution in the comment section on our YouTube channel, DDM TV, and then also share this video widely so that others may see and also join the conversation. We will be back again next week, same time. This is Blockchain World, program brought to you by DDM in conjunction with Dama. I'd also like to say a big thank you to Ibrahim Umawase, my co-host. It's nice having you here. Thank you very much. My name is Tochukwu Raphael. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No, I can stop it from